Nolen Scruggs, among the list of accomplishments you have, you can now claim Ivy League champ. You guys, as Columbia, claimed yet another, third consecutive, right?
Yeah, third in a row.
Ivy League title. You were actually on the squad. How was it fencing for Columbia in your freshman campaign and coming away with another piece of history?
It was definitely the most pressure I've ever felt fencing in my life. Just like the sheer amount of intensity and emotion everyone on the team and the opposite team brings on the strip makes just every bout crazy. Especially when you're neck to neck with like Harvard, it's like 12-12, and like the next two bouts decides who wins the match. It's just a lot of pressure.
Talking about that pressure, I spoke with Coach Michael Offerstig about it. He said, you know, they decided to start you in the first match. So that was Penn, correct?
Yeah.
And you went out there, starting guy, freshman, Ivy League title on the line. You go 0-5 in your first two bouts. However, you were able to make some switches, and you closed out the day with Harvard, going like 3-2 in some of your bouts. I mean, explain that pressure for us, and how much of a factor it was in your first two 5-0 bouts.
I think it was just a lot of pressure. Like I cracked a little. I mean, everyone on the UPenn team, I feel, was like pretty experienced already, had a chance to go to Ivies once or twice, but I think the pressure got to me a little, and I kind of like floundered. But the next day I told myself, like, man, like the team is counting on me, and like it doesn't matter if I'm nervous or not, I just got to do what I got to do and do what I know how to do.
And were you alone in kind of that positive, self-talk, or did you have, you guys on the foil side especially have a really strong men's foil group, but the whole core of Columbia fencing is incredibly strong, now becoming incredibly experienced. Did you have teammates that were also kind of like taking you aside and say they believe in you, or how present was the team aspect?
I think what's great about Columbia fencing is the amount of faith and trust we have in each other, and certainly just in the foil squad especially, we're like a tight-knit group of guys, and we know we can count on each other for anything. And then expanding that to the men's team, we all love each other, we're all pals. And then going to the men's and women's team, I think everyone, no matter what, has respect and trust in the other person.
So looking back, freshman year, Ivy League championship. What was the high of that weekend for you, and most memorable moment?
Definitely fencing against Harvard, and it was my last bout of the day. We had already won the match, but I was up against Stephen McGarris, foil champion, and I took it to him, beat him by 1 point. It was very satisfying.
How about on the opposite side? You talked about pressure. What was kind of the low of the weekend for you, and a real learning opportunity where you can grow from it?
Definitely our loss to UPenn. They put me in, and I felt like I kind of let the whole team down by losing the couple of bouts they put me in for. And definitely I felt like our energy just sunk pretty much after a certain point, and I feel like even though I can't be responsible for the whole team, I feel like I should have rose the energy a little more no matter what.
Now, having the opportunity to start as a freshman on an incredibly talented foil squad, what does that mean for you and the rest of your season with Columbia and your freshman campaign?
I think it definitely means I'll probably be going to regionals for sure. We'll see about NCAAs. If it comes down to it, I'll step aside and let my seniors, Harry, Bergman, and Adam Matthew, go ahead. But if necessary, and if Michael Offertig decides so, and the rest of the foil squad and the team decides so, I'll step up to the plate gladly.
All right. Now, to that point, being a freshman, going into Columbia, what were some of your NCAA goals? A lot of people are focusing on world teams and the like, but for you, were you thinking four-time All-American, four-time national champ, or like, four-year starter? What were your expectations?
For my biggest expectation I think, is not for myself, but for the rest of the team. My first expectation is that I help Columbia Fencing get to Ivy League championships and NCAA championships, and then after that, I can worry about my own individual titles.
And, you know, to that point, going into a team that you know just won it all, men's and women's side, it's obviously a huge expectation for the team itself, but also from the rest of the country. Naturally, given the talent at Columbia, it's got to be a big goal this year. How do you stay focused and keep things in perspective and on the process of the day-to-day goals?
I think it's very easy knowing that I'm on one of the best teams in the country for fencing to get caught up in just, oh, we're going to win it just because we are the best. But I think it's important to think day to day that there's someone out there, there's a team out there training just as hard as us, coming for us. And so every day, I think as a team and as myself, I have to think about, and we have to think about working every day to match them.
All right. Well, best of luck to you in March and the process day to day there.